Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Akeem and welcome to today's blog. Here to give you a preview of week 5 of the 2015 college football season. Now I'm here to give you my key matches and predictions for this week, and we have another set of great games for you guys. Starting early Saturday afternoon between South Carolina traveling to Missouri to face the Missouri Tigers. Now, Mizzou last week lost to the Kentucky Wildcats in their first defeat. And for this week, they're going to have to play without their starting quarterback, and Matty Mock. He had committed some off-the-field issues, actually broken some team violations, and that's why he's suspended for this Saturday's matchup against the Gamecocks. So for this game, I'm going to have to go with South Carolina in this one, due to the fact that not only they're going to be playing without Matty Mock for Missouri, but they've been struggling offensively in the past 2 games. Next up, a big showdown in the Big 12 Conference between number 23 West Virginia versus number 15 Oklahoma. The game is going to be played at Norman. Now, this is a great West Virginia team who's actually shocked the hell out of me. Seriously, excuse my French, but this is a good West Virginia team, and I actually was shocked how they've been performing, particularly at the quarterback position by Skyler Howard. He's been doing a great job. 9 touchdown passes and just 1 pick this season, and this offense is averaged well over 30 points per game, while defensively they only allowed, I believe, 23 points overall in the first 3 games that they had this season. Now for Oklahoma, they did have a big win in Nashville against the Tennessee Volunteers, and they are undefeated as well. They have a good ground attack with some pairing, as well as a good quarterback in Baker Mayfield. Now this offense is very explosive, but the defense is a little shaky. This game, I'm actually going to have to go with my upset game of the week, and I will go with the Mountaineers over the Sooners in this one. I definitely believe in this West Virginia team. I thought this team was going to be worse compared to last season when Clint Tricker was at quarterback and Kevin White, an All-American wide receiver who is now with the Chicago Bears. But West Virginia's actually been growing a lot. They had a great season thus far, especially defensively. And look out for Carl Joseph. I will now announce his name later a lot more in this season because he is a great defensive back and an All-American candidate. Next up, my Texas Longhorns is going to be traveling to face number 4 TCU. TCU came off an escape at Lubbock, but they're at home again. They have the home field advantage as my Longhorns playing a terrible year. I think this is going to be pretty much a good hot seat year for Charlie Strong. I have to go with the Horned Frogs over my Longhorns, just keeping it real with everybody. Next up, 3-1 Minnesota is going to be traveling to face number 16 Northwestern. Now the Wildcats are undefeated, and they had a lot of close victories this year, but they still are undefeated. Now same for Minnesota. Minnesota is 3-1 in that lone defeat against number 4 TCU, but that was a close matchup in which the Horned Frogs won 23-17. And then for the remaining of the next 3 games for Minnesota, they did go undefeated, but they have close victories against a weaker conference opponents. For this game, I'm gonna have to go with Northwestern. They've been doing a great job defensively and pounding the rock with the ground attack with Justin Jackson. Now he does average just 4.4 yards per carry, but he does have 516 yards in the season. He's definitely a good power back, a good well stable back who could definitely give you some tough yardage down the field. Next up, sticking in the Big 10 Conference, as number 19 Wisconsin is going to be hosting the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now Iowa is undefeated this season, while Wisconsin does have their lone defeat against Alabama. But because the game is at Madison, I'm going to have to go with the Badgers over the Hawkeyes in this one. Next one, another upset alert, but an unranked NC State team led by quarterback Jacoby Brissett. This team is undefeated, but they're not ranked. Now, they're going to be playing against a 3-1 Louisville team, who I believe is a little bit better than that 3-1 record. They should be at least 2-2 overall. Definitely had a couple of good, decent performances. Close losses to Auburn, as well as in the previous matchup against Clemson, who was undefeated as well. But I think this is going to be an upset alert, but I still will go with the Wolfpack in this one to remain undefeated and go 5-0. Next up, headed back to the Big 12 Conference, as number 5 Baylor is going to be hosting Texas Tech. Now the Red Raiders are for real. They had a close matchup, close loss at home against TCU. Patrick Mahomes is being recognized as a great quarterback in college football, but I believe he's going to have to deal with a better quarterback as far as his passing attack with Seth Russell at the helm at quarterback. They have a high explosive offense coming out of Baylor, and I think they're going to remain undefeated with a victory over a good Texas Tech team. Next up, a scare in this one, a little bit of an upset alert of number 1 Ohio State is going to be traveling to Indiana to face the Hoosiers. Now, this was a little bit of a shock, a big shock for me, that the Indiana Hoosiers are actually undefeated with 4-0 as their record, and they do have the nation's leading rusher and Jordan Howard leading the nation in running the football. Definitely a great filling shoes for Tevin Coleman, and I think he could be due for a 2,000-yard season as well. He is a great running back, but I think the streak is going to end here against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Buckeyes is still trying to question things out at quarterback, but Cardale Jones should be starting at the helm at quarterback, and I have to go with the Buckeyes in this one. Even though they are having questions at quarterback, they're still a great team overall, particularly even on the defensive side. Next up, an SEC showdown between number 8 UGA hosting number 13 Alabama. Now, the Tide did lose to Ole Miss, and this is going to be another tough battle against Georgia. And Georgia this Bulldog team is very, very, very hungry, and they have a great elite running back in Nick Chubb, as well as they have Alabama has a great running back in Derrick Henry. And once again, it's all going to be determined at the play at quarterback between Lambert for UGA and Jay Coker, or whoever is at quarterback. Most likely Jay Coker should start at quarterback in this matchup, and then this is going to be the big test between these two quarterbacks. I'm gonna have to go with UGA in this one because they do have the home field advantage. But like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if Alabama did win this. I wouldn't be shocked if Alabama win this one. And Alabama does understand that their season is on the line with this game, or even for the remaining games, because they already have another defeat. If they do win this one and ruin things up start things up for the SEC, that is definitely what's going to happen. But if they lose, their season is practically over, and they will not make it to the college football playoff at the end of the year. Next up, number 21 Mississippi State is going to be traveling to face number 14 Texas A&M. Aggies definitely escaped with an overtime win over Arkansas. They do have the home field advantage in this one, and the Mississippi State team is a great team led by quarterback Dak Prescott. But I'm gonna have to go with the Aggies in this one. Christian Kirk is a spectacular athlete. I think he's gonna be due for another great game against the Bulldog defense. Next up, number 7 UCLA is looking to avenge last season's loss to Arizona State, who is unranked and 2-2 overall this season. I'm definitely going to go with the Bruins in this one. They had a great performance at Arizona in crushing the Wildcats in that big thriller. Next up, number 18 Stanford is going to be hosting unranked Arizona, who's now unranked. They were ranked, now they're unranked because of that embarrassing loss to UCLA. And Stanford still have a great defense. I'm still a little bit skeptical about the offensive side with Kevin Hogan at quarterback, but I still think they're going to do good enough at home. I'm going to have to go with the Cardinals over the Wildcats in that matchup. And lastly, the game of the week, number 6 Notre Dame is going to be traveling to Clemson to face the number 12 Clemson Tigers. Now, this game is obviously, in my opinion, the most important matchup this week. That's why I have them as my game of the week. Some people might think it's Alabama and Georgia, or even possibly I've heard a couple people talk about the Texas Tech Baylor game matchup. Some people talked about that game as a game of the week, or even the West Virginia Oklahoma game. But I'm going to have to go with this particular matchup because so much is more at stake, especially for Notre Dame being a non-conference team and independent school. They definitely need to keep this, have this win in order to stay alive for the college football playoff. Now, as for Clemson, they definitely need to win as well. But if they lose, they can still win out for the remainder of the season. Win the ACC championship and still possibly become a fourth member of the college football playoff come towards the end of the season. This is a huge game at stake, and the X factor is this game is Wayne Gallman, the running back for Clemson. Now, Notre Dame's been doing a great job stopping the run, and I think if they control the ground attack and put so much pressure on Deshaun Watson, who is a good quarterback for the Clemson Tigers, I think they'll be just fine. Kaiser has been doing a great job replacing Malik Zaire at quarterback, and they still have an outstanding running back in CJ Procise, who has over 100 yards in multiple games this season. He is the premier back this year for the Fighting Irish. This is going to be a close game, and I'm actually going to go with Notre Dame in this one, because of the fact that they did a great job against Georgia Tech stopping their run. And I think if they completely stop the run for Clemson, I think that would put more pressure at quarterback, and I think that would cause stir on the offensive side for the Clemson Tigers. I will going to go with the Fighting Irish in this one in a close victory. They're traveling on the road, and then definitely, if they come up with the victory, their ranking should definitely go in within the top 5 this season. So that wraps things up for this week. Next time I'm going to catch you guys will be on Tuesday morning, where I will give you a recap of this week. Thank you for watching today's blog. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.